Hello everyone. Good evening to all. Welcome to all of you guys. Here we are today for our Open Source 101 program, and here we are having our host, Mr. Abir sir, and he's going to deliver his knowledge and his everything, his experience and everything related to open source software. So I just want to give him very warm greetings from my side. Hello, sir. And first, I would like to introduce actually open source, and so I would like to just give a short intro in a brief about that by removing barriers between innovators and open source, it just promotes a free exchange of ideas for us to know it better. So with this, keeping this thing in mind, it becomes quite important for us to get familiar with this thing. So, with this topic, we're gonna start, and for this purpose, we are having, as I said, ABIR PAL sir. So, his short intro I want to give: he's a certified postman's expert, major league hacking fellow, beta Microsoft Learn student software ambassador. So, sir, we would like to hear from you ahead and take over, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya, for this nice introduction. And I see so many users have over here, and I'm pretty much excited. And so let's get started with Open Source 101. So this is a resource that I have been putting my efforts and building this up for you all. And so let's see what's in it. So yes, so first of all, to be more productive in this session, I want that you all should feel free. First of all, like feel free to ask your queries on live chat and don't hesitate. Just ask and feel like that. It's just a normal session. It's not any university class going on, or it's nothing like that. So just feel free about it. And so let's get started. Okay. So first of all, are you guys excited? I hope you are. So here we just covered like tips to be more productive in this session, and then we're going to look out on the various things like introduction, then why collaboration is needed. Then after that, we are going to see what are the use cases over here, like how open source has impacted the world, and then we are going to see some resources for student programs, and this is very much important, this part, because this will help to know you that where if most of us are student over here, right? So it will help you to know that what are the student programs you can apply and gain developer experience. So this section I'll discuss briefly about it. And always remember that your network is your net worth. So I have some super cool connections that you can add up to your LinkedIn and just follow them up, follow their posts and what are they doing, just keep yourself updated. So just add them there. I'll share the links and everything. Fine. So let's see. This bit about me. I'm currently working as engineering fellow at Major League Hacking, and I love to contribute to open source projects. Like my past contributions were at Travis CI and Mozilla, and currently I'm contributing to Postman Labs and Dockerizing Amazon Alexa 99. This is somewhat I got it from Twitter, so it's still in the progress. These two are in the progress. Then next, like I would like to be the thankful to all the communities that I've been part of. Because of them, all these are possible. So be part of these communities, and always like I love to spend time on the things about APIs, React, and how you can uh, good build up the things. So that's the main most of the topic, like mainstream topic that I follow. And fine. Okay, so then in between we are going to have the we can say the AMA or the doubt session, and let's get started with just after completing the introduction to open source, we are going to have a doubt clarification session. There will be clearing out the doubts, and then we are going to proceed further. So yes, open source. What is open source? Like the two words you have, it say itself, like itself it say that the source is open to all. Then what does it mean? That anyone, like who you have an access to internet, you can use that, or you can modify the code or whatever available it is. That is the main idea behind the open source idea. So that's how the open source does mean that but it has like, this is the very abstracted meaning that most people get confused, and it's like most of them generate some misconceptions about open source. And recently I was asked by that, what is open source platform? But let me tell you that open source platform is nothing like that. There is nothing like, it's open source software, or it can be open source project. It's not something like you can say a platform. It's not something like this. So you cannot say it as a platform, but it should be like open source software or open source project. And platform, it even if you are making something or building a dashboard or something like that and making it open source, that the code is available to everyone, and then you can say it as an open source platform software, something like that. Okay. And before that, just I'll let you know that this thing, every open source software has an open source license that which describes the permission to be granted to this. Anything cannot be classified as open source. Remember that there are various open source licenses available, and based on that, the license gives you the permission to, like the user who is going to use it, they have the permission. And let's see what are the basic misconceptions we have. The first one is the free software, open source and freeware are all the same. This is the like the major, you can say most of students are getting like confused. Like, this is a kind of a misconception they carry on, and they think that these three are same, but they are not. Free software, open source and freeware are not the same things. Let me just explain you. You can say that a free software is a complete open source software, but open source software is not need not be a free software. There's a fine line of difference between them. And freeware is something like, you have the code, you have the things, like you have a product, its free version is there, and if you want to make any changes to it, you need to ask user, or ask the author, or ask the publisher of that project or that software, that I want to make this changes. And he has to give you the permission. Then only it is known as freeware. So for freeware software, you can have like the free versions of various, like you can say postman, you have free version and premium version. Many things you're going to see that they have free version and premium version. All those are basically, the free ones are known as freeware. And there is a fine line of difference between free and open source software. And here I have written the same thing, that all free software are open source, but all open source software are not free. And this is an example. You can say that VS Code is built on open source software, but it executable are not free and owned by Microsoft. Everyone says that VS Code is a free open source software, but it is not. It is built on an open source software. It is again built on code OSS. There's a software known as code OSS. It's in Microsoft repo only, but it's executable. The VS Code is not completely free. Its executables are not free, and it owned by Microsoft. So these are the following misconceptions that most of the students carry. And in order to clear them, and you just in order to clear them, I want to put up this thing before starting all the stuff. That don't think free software, open source and freeware are all the same. Don't think like that. Cool. Yeah. So yes, next we are going to see various licenses that we have, and this can make you a bit like feeling uncomfy. But don't worry. Let me just put up. Don't focus on these things right now. I'll just tell you this. We have Apache license. We have BSD, MIT, GPL v3, LGPL v3, AGPL v3. These are the various open source licenses that has been given. And what you can see here, just forget about these things for now. You can see that Kubernetes, Swift, and Firebase are using Apache open source. Like, their code base is available perfectly. You can use it. You can do some. You can do the patent work also, and you can also use in closed source projects. Like, closed source means commercial projects. It can be a commercial project, or it can be a college project. It can be anything where you are having some. You don't want to display the whole source code to the public. That is considered as closed source. So any software, any open source software having Apache license, and they can be used in commercial projects. Any software which is in like BSD license, you can use in the commercial project. There was a question asked to me, in the like I asked my subscribers or my newsletter subscribers about these things. So they have put up a question that what kind of license for the commercial software, how we can use open source software in commercial softwares. So this is how you need to check on the licenses. Like for MIT license, it's yes, you can use those, like you can use the open source software in your commercial project or any project which is generating you some income. And here you can see that Django, React, Flutter are all BSD licenses. Like this, you have various licenses, and uh, it is free. You can check it on your Wikipedia and get on the more details about it. I am just putting up a brief overview of the licenses, and most of us we use MIT license or BSD and Apache too. But I have used like personally, I have used MIT and BSD most of the time. So this is the one thing, and yeah, you need to take care of while doing things. Yeah. And yes, you have any questions right now regarding license? I don't think so. Okay, fine, great. Next, we are going
Okay.
to see. Yeah. Okay.
So I
You
guess
have any
we
question?
are
Okay, fine.
we are not having any questions till now, and you
Okay,
can
fine.
carry on, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So, yes, the next thing that we are going to see is how you can get involved with open source software. Like, I am not completely strict to developers. I am focusing completely on beginners, that those who are actually getting started with the things. So, one thing you can do is like maintaining documentation. Another thing you can do is designing logos and UI wireframes. That is the graphic designing work you can take on. You're not you're Trust me that these two things are most important, and we need it in open source software. Like most of them are developers, and we are not so good at these things, designing logos and maintaining documentation. Somehow maintaining documentation, but not every time. So open source needs these like contributors in these fields. And obviously we have developers, and you can contribute by using the project development guides given. So let's see that what are the prerequisites if you are like contributing to maintaining docs or graphic designing or developers. So let's see here. If you just see that for maintaining docs and designing UI wireframes, you need to know that what is that version control system. Like I'll share one thing, that what is version control system. Most of you have played PUBG, right? PUBG had different versions, like version 0.1, 0.2. That's how it proceeded. So they have a full like how they are actually putting up the things in next version. You have seen that version 0.1 is there, and then over that only version 2.0 or version 0.2 has been built, right? So how they're managing those versions. So there is a concept known as version control system, and I'll share the links over here with you. And all the links of the slide will be given to you in a proper format, so don't worry about it. You just need to know, or just Google it out, what is version control systems. And then you will see that Git is one of them. That then you should know about what is Git and GitHub. Like Git and GitHub, there's a fine line of difference again. GitHub is the it's a web, you can say the site where you can host the Git repositories, and Git is the software that has been developed by Linus Torvalds, and it helps you to manage versions and files of, and complete gives you a solution for file management and version control. So you need to know about these two things, right? Getting started with an Git and GitHub, it is very important. You may not need to know the client, or that the terminal version, that the coding one. And just you, if you are working in the docs and designing UI wireframes, then just the simple UI version of Git and GitHub, you should know the concept, right? What happens, how to send a PR, how to create a issue, how to self assign your issues, or how to get PR reviewed, and something like that. So you need to know about these things. And for learning Git and GitHub in interactive way, and for learning Git and GitHub in interactive way, I see comment from Praveen. Oh, okay. GitHub is a version control solution service provided by Git, powered by Git. Yes, Praveen said it right. And yeah, so back to the presentation. Here, if you see that I have provided few links that where you can actually learn GitHub in an interactive way. This one is the lab.github.com. Here you are going to see GitHub powered labs. They will teach you hands on that how to create a PR, how to do this, how to do that, and all the stuff related to GitHub. And then if you are like bit into more like know about GitHub in a video format, that is, if you like, it's completely dependent. If you want to do hands on, this link. And if you want to have a video with you, like you want to see video format, then you should go with this link, Git Free Code Camp. So it's actually a YouTube video link where Free Code Camp lecturers are giving tutorials on Git, and it's super amazing. I have learned Git from here, at least from the video format. So just go over it. Then second, the developer contribution. Previously, we discussed about this thing, maintaining docs and designing UI wireframes. Now we are going to developer contributions, as most of you are student developers. So we need to see this. And it's most important that you need to know about one at least one programming language, at least basics and intermediate of one programming language, how to build some application with that programming language, at least a to do application with that program. If you are using JavaScript, then you must know how to build a to do application using JavaScript. So that much proficiency is needed for like to get started with the to get started with developer contributions. Then you can actually you get to know that what are functions and how to use them, how to call them, what are event handlers, and so many things. So I'm particularly strict to JavaScript for these event handlers and stuff. And that's how, like, first thing you should know, learn a programming language before getting started with anything. Then you get started with like Git and GitHub proper way. and and make sure that you need to learn Git from your terminal, not the UI version. UI is fine, you can learn that easily, but the terminal version will help you, actually the CLI one, because you are going to run code from your VS Code, and then you are going to push it, right, your from your code editor, then you are going to push it to the main server, like main GitHub repo. So you need to know about Git from terminal, like how you can get CLI version of Git, like how it actually happens, and what are the various flags and commands. Then obviously this is very important to keep yourself updated. Like, you should develop a habit of reading and writing code, like you're reading the things and writing up the stuff, like you're reading and understanding and then writing your own version of the code. This helps, this surely helps a lot. And also you need to develop a habit for reading of blogs. That So there are so many developer blogs. You can go for dev.to, or you can go for medium.com. There you can see, you can just categorize the things and see I need to know something about JavaScript, then just read out the blogs. And there are some code snippets also. This actually helps you to develop this reading skills. Reading code, reading code is the, like, it should be a skill like you should have in order to contribute to open source. Like you should know how to read people's code, right? And then you need to solve some beginner friendly issues. And for that, I have listed all the things over here where you can actually get started. Let me just share the link with you. All the compiled link will be over here. Fine. So yes, I request the host to share the link that I just shared. Let me just put it up in nice format. Wait. You can just share this link. Okay, I see the comments. Hi Joshua. Yeah. So yes, let's see. I have shared the link. I think. Okay, fine. We'll have it soon. In the slides, we also have that link, so we'll be sharing that directly. Fine. Then like we need to see what are the benefits for students, right? What are the students can benefit from this open source? Like first of all, open source helps you to learn new technologies in very less time. Otherwise you are going to see documentation and like videos and all those stuff. Then it takes a lot of time. You are like not developing anything, you're just learning and falling into tutorial hell, that you are watching tutorial and tutorial, not learning anything. Okay. And that actually is bit weird, I will say that, because it doesn't make you grow, right? You are just learning things but not building. So open source helps you to like learn new technologies in very less time by contributing like directly hands on real world experience you get. And also if you are like getting like for off-campus placements, or if you are working seeing for off-campus roles like engineering roles, it helps to create your own personal brand. Like if you go on the recruiter, or any person from the open source background or working in that company and who loves open source, you can talk to him and tell about your contributions and whatever thing, or do some collaboration on different projects, and there you go. And then you can see like build a connection and get yourself placed off campus directly. So that's another way that open source helps you to grow. And yes, if you are like into more freelancing, you can get remote developer internships and gain, like you can have a good amount of experience before you graduate from college. And then you can directly land onto the companies that you want to apply for. So let's talk about this from a beginner's perspective. That suppose I am a student and I don't know about anything. Like I am just getting started with the things. So what will I do? I'll first try to see, check out the internet and take out help from the already pre-existing YouTube channels that we have, and then learn Git, GitHub, build some projects, again build some projects, and like this keep on learning the things, and then share your learning on LinkedIn or Twitter or anywhere. Like it, whatever you learn, you should share. Otherwise, people won't know you, right? Yeah, yes, Dhruv will answer that. I just saw your query. Yes, sure. I'm going on that too. Like, wait, don't worry about it. We'll answer that. Okay, fine. So from this beginner perspective, you should know the technologies, and then so there's some YouTube videos and build some things and connect on LinkedIn, right? Talk to people on LinkedIn or Twitter, or just get started with the things. If once the conversation starts, then you are the boss. You can do anything now. If you want to build or if you want to destroy the conversation, that's up to you. So that's how a beginner can be like a master, and can help you. You need not dependent on college. You just need to dependent on your skills, and how you can actually build your skills, in the sense like developer skills and the contribution skill, how you are actually communicating and contributing to the open source. Then you can directly reach out to people and they will surely help you out. This is how a beginner should start the things. So, as we covered these few things, and we are now on quick doubts and queries clarification. Right, we are going to have now quick doubts and whatever queries you have. So let's clarify all those. Okay. So first we are going to answer. Let me just have sip of water. Let me just 2 minutes. Cool. We are going to start now again. Yeah. So Dhruv has asked, sir, what should we keep in mind while selecting our projects as a first year student? So see, first year student, it doesn't mean like that. If you are a first year student, you should select this project. If you are second year, you should select this. It's not like that. First of all, understand that. Then it totally depends on you, what your skills are, what are your present skills, actually what you can develop. I have seen students, uh, like there are few students, like few connections on few twitters few connections on Twitter, that they are in 12th class and they are doing live projects with Django, React, and so many things. So it doesn't mean that you should take a project and if you are a first year student, you should do this project. It is something very open to your skills. Whatever you know, Mern Stack, develop something with Mern Stack. If you know Socket.io, develop something with Socket. You want to develop something like a real-time chat application, you can do that, or a complete interface or something like that. You can go on. So it doesn't depend like, are you first year student, are you a second year? Don't let these things prevail in your mind that I am a first year student, I should build. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's completely based on what you know, what are your skills now, and how you are going to push it up. Okay, this is how you can do it. And yes, actually the organizer has put up this link. This link has all the links that I have used in the slides, and you can view them. And yes, and Prithvi Raj, he has asked, as we see some code in GitHub, but how to see a proper project of that? Please answer this. Okay, fine. You for GitHub repos, you have a link, right? Whenever you go to a link, there will proper project document, like proper project readme is there, right? You have a project readme which actually describes the whole project, what is the architecture, or what are the technologies used, so you can actually go through that and then contribute or see the code in the project. Don't directly jump to the code, first go through the readme, and then you actually uh, put up the thing like I want to see this module, this code. Okay, fine. And once I asked, like I had a doubt when I was learning that what how I can visualize the large repositories. Then I was like, okay, fine, that how I can do that. So I asked Kunal about it for the same thing, how I can do this. So he suggested me that check on to the test cases. So there's one thing that whenever you are contributing to a big project, like if you are contributing a whole new code base, suppose Facebook's React, then how you can actually do that? You just need to see the test cases over there and see what module is happening, or what function is there running, what modules, what packages are there. Because big repositories are divided into chunks, and chunks known as modules, and each module has a different function. So if you want to contribute to some function or some module, then you can go over there, check on the test cases, what are they running, and that's how you can contribute to like a big project on GitHub. That is one of the ways. Cool. And I've shared the link actually with all the subscribers of my newsletter. So I'm just going to put it up all those questions from there. Okay. Yeah, Praveen. Yes, test cases developers hate, but they actually help a lot if you see, and it actually makes some a good impression that if you are doing something, then you should know the test cases before contributing. Helps actually the maintainer to like this contributor or collaborator has actually put up the test cases and doing things. Okay, can you just show how to edit code in big projects, but how to run that? Okay, so let's see that one project we have. So let's see, we have, okay, let's see, let's do that. After this query, we'll do that. This way, this is on to-do list, okay? Can you just show how to edit code in big projects? I'm putting it up and we'll do that. Okay. And then before that, this query is on my Google form that I've shared. That how would you set up a dev environment for an open source repo with unfamiliar tech stack? Go with Docker. That there's a like you have Docker with you. Docker is a, like you can say, a containerization technology. Just use Docker and set up and ask for the Docker file. If project has a Docker file, then just install it and you can go ahead with the setup of dev environment. Clearly, you don't need to install anything much. Just have a Docker and run a container over there. That's how you can do it. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Use of my project if you don't have any. Okay. Fine. So we'll see. Fine. Let's see that. So we are going to see Praveen's project, and yes. So now let me just show you directly. So let's see. Let me just put it up over here. You can see that this is Praveen's project, and he has made Uno online, okay, using Socket.io. And here you can see the project README. Actually, this is the README that all the instructions have been given, and Praveen has deployed it to herokuapp.com, and this is the link. Let me share this link with you so you can also directly go with that. Let me just do that. Okay, so you can do side by side. No, I sorry, Shubham. I just saw your question that can we run Android emulators on Docker, and I am not sure about Android because I haven't worked with Android much. But yes, there would be something to run Android emulators. Something like BlueStack is there, I think so. Like I'm not sure about Android emulators completely, so I cannot comment or answer your question for that. Okay, fine. So we are over here. like this one. So here some things I've given. Okay, fine. And then here you can see how you can run the game locally. Follow the steps. There are particular steps already given, right? You need node, then at the root of project id npm stall and all these things. Okay, fine, so we are going to follow it. So let's get started. So here for contributing, first we need to fork the project repo, right? So let's do that. Okay. Fine, fine. So yes, so for the fork the project repo, so let's fork the project repo before we contribute. So let's forking is just creating a copy of the project and of Praveen's project. I've copied Praveen's project. So Praveen, sorry for that. I have copied your project. Nothing like that. It's just you are for contributor, for being a contributor. You need to fork actually before pushing anything and then doing the stuff. Okay, so then this is like you're going to create a feature branch and commit your changes and all this. Fine. This is the contributing guidelines. Let's get started with this code one. So here, if you just go up over here, you can see there's HTTPS clone. Let me just copy it over here, and let's open VS Code. And I'm on Linux, so here VS Code is very simple. Fine. Yeah, Praveen said it right. And let me just set up my VS Code over here. Finally. And then we are going to open a folder, and let me just share the screen in a few moments. And okay, I'm sharing a screen again. Let me just share the screen. Okay, fine. Okay, so you can see my screen, and here is VS Code we have, and we are going to clone Praveen's project. Right, this one is Praveen's project, and I have forked it, and let's clone it. So yeah, I'm going to use get clone, and I'm going to paste the link, and I'm going to press space and then dot. I want to clone the stuff over here itself complete. So that's why. So cloning into this whole directory. This thing. See, now you have come over here. I'm going to see the README now, and how to install it. Right, here's written npm install. Right, we need to first install npm. Like we have npm, we have node, everything is done. You just need to go and click on npm install. That's it. And now we need to run the server and npm server. Okay, I see npm start. Sorry. Fine. So server is running on port 5000. Fine. And also, I think that's how we have to actually set up the server, because these are two things. One is server and another one is client. Client is the front end that you see, and the next thing is that client is the front end, and the thing that Praveen has written over here is the backend application that using sockets. So now let's open new terminal over here again, and we are going to go over client, and we are going to again install npm I. You can instead of writing install, you can just use npm space I. It will install everything for you. And after that we are going to see, as it's a React app, right? Yeah, it's a React app. So yes, it's getting installed. It's taking a bit time, don't worry, it will be done. Okay, let's see. Let me just tell you what is package.json. Package.json is nothing, just it's like what all the things are used in this whole project. It gives an overview. So yes, and now let's start. npm start. Yeah. So React is starting the stuff, and here we go. Cool. So we have started Uno, and we are going to create a game now. And yes, the game code is this thing. Okay, and it's saying waiting for player 2 to join the game. So let's open a private window, and just again go to localhost 3000. That's the thing stuff running on it, and then paste this code. Let's see, join game, and yes, we are done. And now I can put it up like this, and I can play on, right? So okay, fine. I'm not going to play that now. I have played long time back with my friends, so I may not know that. I know there's something like you have to put a number six or it's nine or it's number nine card or red card, something like that. So I have a red card. I could show. This is like I have a red card. So yes, fine. Like this, it has there. Fine. That's how you play Uno, and I think that clearly shows that how you need to go through project readme and get started, like how to install the thing. There will always be installations will be given. Thank you, Praveen, for this repo. And let me just share the window again, the presentation. Cool. So let's share the screen. Share screen. And I think I missed something. Yeah, so I think fine. I think Docker is another new concept that you have to know before, like you need to know some things, then you can move on to Docker. I request one of the hosts to allow the screen sharing. Yeah, thank you. So, any more doubts, guys? Let me just see once I was over here. Let's see. Okay. I joined little late, sir. Okay. Other terms like commit and pull requests, etc., are covered, or maybe you can just give a quick overview if you want to make changes in someone's project. Okay, sure. Again, I'll do this. Don't worry. I'll do this for you. Okay. Now we were actually showing. Uh, Prithvi, actually, I told you about Docker. Is you can actually go to learndocker.online. There you can actually see what how to use Docker and what it's all about. This is the best resource for learning Docker. I'll just share it to you. You can go over here, learndocker.online. So that's how. Cool. So next, this is the most important thing that I think all your doubts now covered, and I think Dhruv has one doubt. We'll cover it at the end. Then don't worry about it. Okay. So now next, the most important thing that most people ignore, that this word is overused. What is collaboration? Right. So what exactly does it mean, and what it is? It's somebody says that just joining up an event and doing something together, it's a collaboration. Okay, fine. That's one way, that's how one can define collaboration, but that's not the only way. Okay, that's not the only way to define collaboration. It's something more than that. So let's decode it. A finest example of collaboration is Linux kernel. Actually, what happened? Linux is you can say operating system kernel. What is kernel? Let me just tell you. Kernel is something you can actually have a software which can actually talk to your hardware. It's something like that. It's a middleware and low level software which can actually manages the system's hardware resources and gives you an efficient workspace to actually build up the things. So that is what kernel is. Okay, and that's how actually what happened when Linus Torvalds was working. He was actually building something just for fun, and you can see on his TEDx too about how Linux kernel came up. They never had any idea or any plan for Linux kernel, right? What to do next? Now also they don't have any plan for Linux kernel. They don't know what will be the next release, what will be covering in next release, right? So what I'm saying about the plan, that every project, if you see Microsoft Windows, that they went from Windows XP to now we are having 10. So right now they have a proper plan, right? But Linux never had any plan. It totally run on collaboration. Like if I'm contributing to Linux, I'll see, right, what are the things that it should have. Like some contributor are like, okay, this is the thing I'm missing in Linux, so let's build this for Linux. I have no idea about this thing, what happened. Like I have no idea about the main stuff, what happens inside Linux. but on TEDx, like how actually he delivered it, and how actually he put it up. That's how the Linux workspaces. That's the main thing that Linux, the collaboration is. So actually, what happens? Suppose you are a contributor, you know about most of the things, you are a super developer and want to contribute to Linux kernel. So what happens, you see that, okay, fine, this issue is not there, I want to have something. Okay, there's some scheduler I want in Linux that can help me to, though it's already there, but you want something more about it, you want to improve it. So you're just going to put it up, write some code, and write some more code, and then you can test the things up, and then you can see what is then you can directly send a PR. Then PR will be reviewed by whole Linux environment, right? The whole Linux, the admins, the maintainers, and the final, like after your PRs get, the final merging will take place after your PR is signed by Linus Torvalds, the founder himself, because he also actively contributes till date. That's how Linux grows. Like it is the, and why Linux I'm focusing on, because it is used by everyone. You can say Google also use it in its data centers to run their data center. It's so much efficient, and Microsoft also use it, though they have their own operating system. But okay, so there's one question. I'm trying to find repo of Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu. Is it available publicly? See, Ubuntu is developed by a South African uh, programmer, developer. He was an astronaut too, Mark, I think so. He was an astronaut in Russia. So Ubuntu is just you can say a UI version that has been developed based over on Linux. Linux is just like it's something you have on like is a CLI type of version, and Ubuntu is based on that. It has given its GUI a new look. And yes, for Ubuntu, let me just check it out. Ubuntu we do have or not. Let me just check it out. Ubuntu, because I have never seen about this thing. Ubuntu GitHub. Uh, Everyone is on, you can say, Linux. Okay, Ubuntu does have, they do have. And let me just share the link. Fine. Let me just share the link. Okay, so that's how, like, you can say Linux Torvalds has changed the world. Like they have actually put collaborated and then developed. There was no issue, no nothing plan was there for Linux. There's still no plan. Linux is still like they don't have proper plan. What are the next things they are going to develop? It's not like that. It's like people are finding bugs and issues, they're solving it, they're implementing new features and collaborating with each other. And for collaboration, I told you, you need to know about GitHub and Git, and I shared the resources with you that you should know. And just go over there and just learn about these things. Okay, let me just share one more link with you, this thing, bit.ly. Okay, fine. I'll just share this thing. Yeah. Okay, let me just put it up in my HTTP format. Fine. So bit.ly slash OSS101 be over here. I'll say organizer to put this up. There you'll find all the links for learning Git, GitHub, and all the things I have discussed in this webinar. So here, the same link, bit.ly slash OSS101 ABIR. Here you can actually find a README, and you can go through it and see what are the things you need to know, what are the resources, everything listed over there. Okay. So yes, we were on collaboration, and that's how I am to continue that Linus. Like everything is not like that. You should have a plan or something. Works on collaboration too. And trust me, guys, collaboration helps you to do many things. Like it gives you a huge power that you are having a power of different brains at a time, and they are working independently. So just be like whenever you find someone, like try to like work on something, then try to collaborate with people, work in a team. And in a team, it doesn't mean you are working alone. Okay, team means you are working together, you are building something together. If A is doing some contribution, like making some feature, you are doing some another feature, and then putting it up together. It should have merging conflicts, and so many things are there. So you need to collaborate first in order to do the things, right? To achieve greatness, you need to have collaboration with you, and with greatness means building good products, I mean. Okay. This is the link, find all the links which are used in the slide over here. And then finally, use cases and impact. This is the most amazing thing that you are going to know, that if you have an iPhone or an Android, just go over these things, go to settings, general, about, legal and legal notices. Just better scroll down a bit, and you can see that all the prominent open source software that are used in Apple, and they have also mentioned the name of the open source developer to see. Apple has just actually used all the open source software, did some tweak to them, and they are selling you. That's how it works. They have like they have done the hardware stuff. That's fine. They have done the hardware stuff. Then they are using prominent open source software, and they have like bunch of. It's not about 10 to 15. It's hundreds, thousands of software that has been used in Apple. So Apple iPhone or iPad. Many open source software have been used. Let me just show if it is possible on like on my mobile, that how it is. Okay, let me just go through it. Just me more set in Android. If you go to more settings, then about phone. Just after you go to about phone, then you just need to click on legals. Then you are going to see over here open source licenses, right? These open source licenses, if you just click on it, it will fetch now all the open source. You can see a whole link, like what are the open source softwares have been used. Everything is there. So many things. So that's how. So this is actually the power of open source, and that's how it has impacted the world. You know Apple now what it is. Okay, so that's how you can actually trust open source and build great software, and you need to actually inculcate open source culture and then build products. So yes, they have used open source and they are a commercial company, right? So next is Linux kernel, as I said, that be it an Android or your next data center, not your data center, that with any data center, Linux is everywhere. Okay, and you can actually see that Linux is like the most efficient software. It's one of the most efficient. I would say, no, but not one of that. It is the actually the most efficient. Nothing has been ever like Linux in the history. We don't know about future, but yes, nothing has been there like Linux till now. So yes, that's about Linux kernel. Next is I said about Visual Studio Code earlier also, that Visual Studio Code is built on open source project for Microsoft, and I think there's a comment. Okay, what print and display? Okay. Okay, I've shared the link, Vikram. You just check out github.com/ubuntu. Fine. So get back to the presentation. Yes, Visual Studio Code is like the code editor, right? It's built. It's by Microsoft, and it's built on open source project of Microsoft, which is known as Code OSS. All the things which are in Code OSS are in Visual Studio Code. In fact, if you inculcate Code OSS, you can build your own VS Code, build your own, like if you are or Praveen code, or you can PK code, or anything like that. Okay, so you can actually use those code OSs and you can do the stuff. But remember, Visual Studio Code is owned by Microsoft, but code OSs, that has been the completely open source software, so you can use that. But you cannot say Visual Studio Code is an open source software, but you can say it's built on open source project because Microsoft has executables. Okay, yeah, Microsoft has executables, and those are non-free and those are proprietary ones. So Visual Studio Code is built on open source project. And yes, here if you just see, we have so many open source software, like open source browsers like Mozilla Firefox, Brave, OBS Studio. Anyone know about OBS Studio? It has been like, you can say, a production video production software, open source software, and it is the one of the most coolest software that gamers or streamers use. And I have also used it, and it has super amazing features, and you can contribute to OBS Studio too. And obviously React.js is there, and it will be always there, React.js. And because it is the thing that most of the developers and use, the libraries have been built over React.js, like Next.js is there, Gatsby is there. So they have been built over there, but React is going to stay, so don't worry about it. It doesn't like AngularJS. I'm not including AngularJS, so it is going to be killed in 2021, AngularJS officially. So yes, React.js is going to stay, and it's open source. And yes, that's BSD license, React.js, and I think OBS Studio is also BSD license. So that's how you can see that how open source has impacted the world. And you can now see so many free open source software you use in your daily life, and you can get enhanced. And it should feel like it should feel something like you should also contribute to be a part of this impact. So that's why I say contribute to open source and do some good things. And yes, this is the most important part. I know most of the students are waiting for this. And student mentorship programs. Uh, Let me just tell you, it's student mentorship, not internship. Student mentorship is completely different from internship. So here you will be given a mentor and you need to perform tasks. Okay. And now here, first thing that we are going to see is GirlScript Summer of Code. Like it has like all the beginners or those who are getting started with the things, just pop in into GirlScript Summer of Code. I think they have registered and they have received the Slack or Discord link. Last time it was on Slack, now it is on Discord. So you may have received the links. And that's how actually you can just participate it. And what happens actually, whenever you're in the Discord or Slack, you're going to see so many projects over there, right? And just click on that and see the project repo. That's just how, just some time ago, like I showed you that how you can go through readme and install the setup. Install this is so simple. And just try to look out the things and features. And always there's a nice suggestion that I want to give you, that I always like this was been said by Vineet Shadev. He is actually SDE at Postman. So actually, what happens? He said me that always take two projects in one where you can actually contribute, which is familiar to your tech stack. Like if you are a MERN developer, go with that. Okay, fine. I'm going to contribute this and another project. Select another project which is completely new to you, and you are going to learn from that. Okay, so that's how you should take two projects and get started. Don't get overwhelmed, and just start take two projects, one which is familiar to your tech stack, another one which is a bit new and where you can push yourself up. So that's how you can actually put the things up in for GirlScript Summer of Code and be a top contributor over there. Next, we have Google Summer of Code. It's coming, and organizations are already announced yesterday only, right? Or today. Okay, fine. It's India. It's today, and yes, they have been announced, and you can just check onto that. I know most of them. If you are preparing for Google Summer, they must have their proposals ready by now, and doing their final revisions. And yes, it does have a stipend, and you can just go over there. Organizations have announced. And another thing that we have, Google season of docs. Like this is technical writers. If you have like technical writing skills, like writing about the documentation of the software, what are you going to use, what are the APIs, and all those, putting them in a documented format. Google season of docs is there. I think it's also started, and you can just check out the timeline by googling it out. Google season of docs. And yes, MLH fellowship. It is always their internship alternative by Major League Hacking. There are three tracks. You can have the first track is Explorer, open source, and externship track. Externship last time it was like completely for like most of the like international students were very less. I would say apply for open source, or if you are a beginner, apply for Explorer, and then if you have some contributions, then you can go for open source too. And that's about MLH fellowship. You should find the details on fellowship.mlh.io more about it. And you can reach me out for the MLH fellowship if details, and if you have any issues with that. Yeah. Okay, I see. Okay, Sudipto Ghosh has come. He is actually a software engineer at JP, incoming software engineer at JP Morgan, Glasgow. And fine, let's actually, he's also there with us. Fine. So here, this thing, grow your network. This is the most important thing. As I was just saying that Sudipto Ghosh is here. He's incoming SD at JPMC Glasgow, and we have Eddie Jowdy, and I have mentioned all the links actually in the file in that I shared that Bitly link over there. I'll again share it to you. Okay, this just scroll down and you can see what are the connections you should make. I have mentioned all the LinkedIn links over there. Just create, if you don't have any LinkedIn ID, just create it and add them to your connections. We have Sudipto, Eddie Jowdy, Aditya, Siddharth Dealwal, Ikansh, Joshua, Praveen Kumar, and Praveen is here with us, and Sudipto is here with us. So you can directly go on to them and talk to them and get started with the things. This is like how you grow your network. And actually, networking is an acquired skill. It doesn't come automatically. It comes with progress of time. So let me just share. Okay, GirlScript Foundation has shared it. bit.ly/OSS101MB, and that's how you can actually be like always, at any time, your network will always help you to come out of your situations. If you have like a credibility in you, or you have, don't do like this, that putting the stuff on LinkedIn just like Facebook or Instagram. Don't do like this. LinkedIn is a professional platform, so build a connection over there. Be polite to the people and take inspiration from people, those who are doing super amazing things. Cool. And next, that's all for today. Here are my LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm launching a channel on YouTube, and will be having videos soon. You can just go over there and subscribe to it. Now it don't have any videos right now, but it will be having soon. Let me just share the link that too. And yes, if you have not subscribed to my newsletter subscription, that I write mail, I write always weekends or every fortnight. I put up all the mails for the subscriber, where I discuss about open source and some techniques and all those things stuff that you should take care of. And obviously, you can find all the links over here: bit.ly/OSS101. So that's all for the today's session, and I hope you all liked it. And if you have any queries now, you can just ask it. And let me see if I have missed anything on top. Okay, I'm going from top, and let's see if I have missed anything. Okay, okay, so Dhruvka, I have answered. Okay, fine, I have answered him. Okay, and okay, Vikram, nice speaking. Okay, fine. Okay, okay. Not covered. Just one. Okay, fine. Agenda. Okay, are the terms like okay? Dhruv, I have shared actually. You can say a hands-on link with you. That is lab.github.com. I think yes. Let me just lab.github.com. Yeah, it's lab.github.com. Here you can get the hands-on experience, and just go over there and check out the things. You need to have a GitHub account. Make sure that you have a GitHub account now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Praveen, Labs is always awesome. Thank you, Praveen, Sudipta Ghosh, for joining. And yes, thank you for having me over here, GirlScript Foundation. And that's all.
Okay, so I guess we all are done with our questions. If anyone have any query, please ask. Okay, so I had a question like what interview tips you'll share with us related to that open source software?
I think you're talking about MLH fellowship because that has because for open source contribution you don't need to have any interviews. Just you can have like for MLH fellowship. I'm the like this has been the put up. So if you are talking about MLH fellowship, you just need to write whatever the code you have written. Actually, you need to know what you have written, right? In MLH fellowship, when we are applying it, you can apply it now. The deadline is May last, I think May 31st or May 30, something like that, and you can just go and apply now. And there you can see there are some essays you have to write, and also what is the code sample, that you should know what you have written. You should not fake things and build things up. You should know what you have written. If you are good in React, just put it up over there. You have build applications, you have code base, just share the link and paste the code base up there, and do the stuff whatever the instructions have been given. Be original and be to the point. And if they have rejected, there will be always there's something you can say, a suggestion or feedback has been given, follow that feedback and then go on. That's how you can proceed. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have one more question that can there be any, if there is, like the drawbacks of open source?
um can you let me know if there is? I haven't encountered with any.
Ah,
Okay,
okay,
so
that's pretty good.
okay, one thing I would say that draw open source doesn't have any drawbacks, but people who use it, they should be very they should take care of it. Sometimes I have heard that some YouTube communities have shared that wrong things about open source. In Hacktoberfest it happened, so that is not good thing. That's one fact, that open source doesn't take care of what people have there in their mind about the feeling of open source. Like one should feel about open source something contributing to make a better place, not just to get swags or not just to get anything like that. So that is completely dependent on people, that how they think the open source is. So I would say open source doesn't have any drawbacks, but the people who contribute or people who build the things, they should know what is the thing, what are the things. They are only the, like, they can be only the advantage. Like if you see Linus Torvalds, we say that he has contributed the open source in very, because of him open source is running, I would say. Because Git, if there was no Git, then there was something other thing else other than us which is not much efficient. So that's how actually say open source from Linux drivers, you can say open source has been good thing. If you say from another spammy PRs you get on open source repositories, from that point, okay, fine, a lot of spammy people are there in open source. So that completely two different aspects of open source and dependent on people and bit much dynamic about it. Yeah. it,
Okay.
yeah, that's all. Any more questions you
Okay.
have? Yeah.
So I'm done with my questions. I had too many.
Sure, sure.
If anyone have any question,
Yeah, and
I guess we don't have.
okay, sure. There's one thing that Praveen has put up, that companies like banks and all, they hate open source. You can use blockchain and build some products using those, and that we have been doing that now these days at Fellowship, building some products using blockchain, and you can use that and go over some resources over there. You can do that. Cool.
Okay, so I guess we are good to go. And please, guys, do not forget to fill the feedback form. And if you have any further questions and any further queries in future, then please you can follow our page, that is GirlScript Jalandhar on Instagram, and we are on LinkedIn as well. And you can contact ABIR PAL sir as well. He's a master of that, so you can go there. But please, guys, do not forget to fill the form, that is feedback form. And you have our host has also provided you with the Gmail ID, so you can go there. That's all from my side. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You were
Thank
really good at that. I mean, you explained it very well, very, very well. So
thank you. Thank
I
you.
don't think anyone could can have any query. So I guess we are good to go.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Divya, and thank you, Sudipto, for joining up. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. Thank you so much.